Hello, this is Tina Logassi again from Heirloom Designs, and this is the third video in this series for how I make the 12 Days of Christmas heads for Larissa Holland's series. This one now is the Piper, and I think this one's probably would be the most challenging, and you'll see why. So I'm going to start again. If you want the details on my materials or how I pick my beads and whatnot, have a look at the Made a Milking video, and we're just going to dive in. So I've made a center line between the top and the bottom of this bead. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and put his little eyes in. Okay, and then I'm going to look for the halfway point. I eyeball it. You're more than welcome to use a ruler and draw that in. So now I put on its side again, and now to get his mouth, that's the tricky part. So I will draw a line, almost making a crosshairs about here, and I'm going to measure that for you, what I've done. So that line is 4 millimeters down from the center eye line. Okay, and I mean, you could go further now, and let's see. Well, let's see, the width of that line is 4. So let's make it 2 above and 2 below. So we're going to make a marking here and a marking there. So basically all 4 of these, now all of a sudden you've got 4 guidelines there, right, that you can follow. So this is basically 4 millimeters here, 4 millimeters there. So now you can start to make kind of a circle. Now notice I made it more of an oval. You've got liberties with this. I prefer an oval, so I've come from this upper marking and this lower marking, I've come up a little bit. If you would like a full circle, you could do that as well. It all looks really good. And that's as far as I'm going to take that with the pencil. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw in his hair, and this one goes like this. So I'll start like somewhere around here, and I'll swoop it up. And then over here, and then I'll curve it around his eye. It's very, there's a lot of artistic license with this, I guess is the word. And then I'll kind of find where that one is. I'll sort of try to match it up here. And I know I've got 2 final swoops to do over here to get his little side curly hair. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. And then I'll connect those 2 at the back. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to the black Sakura marker, and I'm going to draw the eyes. Okay, and the way that I do the mustache mouth part, I'll do 1 single line around the outside. Like that, okay? And so now I will fill that in thinly from the inside, going a little bit heavier on the bottom half. So you'll see what I mean. Just like that. I find if you go too heavy on it, sometimes the characters can look a little, kind of like a little gaudy. So I prefer like the thinner lines, but again, that is totally up to you. And now I'm going to go ahead and fill in the hair. And again, it's just this filling in around all of the lines, so you've got a nice distance from that line edge to where you're going to start to use that thicker marker. And again, I am leaning my fourth finger against the bead to really give me better control. And my arms are nicely pressing against the table to lessen the movement so that I get nice steady control. Okay, and I'm gonna flip them. And notice when I grab them, I'm not moving my finger around. When I've got to put my finger on a paint or on a markered area, I try to not smear it, because that would suck. If you get to this point and then you smear something, you kind of got to start all over again. And sometimes you may get like a small little, you know, mark or something. So sometimes what happens with this and with the drummer is like I may, accidentally have like a little line come through like that. That's okay. I mean, yes, you see it. So what you do is you just kind of extend that down a little bit till you cover it up. Again, like these don't have to be perfectly matching. And the other thing I found is if I have an incorrect line, if it's not too deep or dark, I can use a bit of sandpaper to kind of lift that line. That helps a lot. Sometimes you can't, but sometimes you can. And then that saves the bead as well. And in looking at this, I think I may try to go a little bit bigger on the outside. There, just a little bit. And you can see like that little tiny bit of a line actually makes quite a difference. So this point, normally again, I would let it sit. I would go ahead and color in this back part, but let it sit before I do the mouth. But I'm just going to show you. So please do not erase this right now like I am. But I just want to show you. There. Just carefully doing that. Try not to smear it. And the mouth is just a little dot. There you go, just like that. I'll come back and erase the rest of those tomorrow. And then you take your big marker and you finish coloring the rest of the head in. Also, make sure that when you go to erase, that your eraser is clean. Sometimes older erasers too, they end up almost like greasy and they end up leaving residue rather than picking it up. I really like to use a retractable eraser, like just this nice white bottom. But I know these are new pencils and this eraser works really well too. But I have accidentally grabbed an old one and I've made more of a mess on the bead than taken up the markings. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, and there is paper piping.